Hello everyone, and thank you for visiting our channel. Today, we'll be delving into the lives of talented actors who left us too soon, often without us even realizing it. From Hollywood icons to rising stars, these individuals made significant contributions to the world of entertainment before their untimely passing. Before we begin, we ask for your support. If this video or their legacy has touched your life, please like it as a sign of respect. Thank you. Now let's begin. Lynn Hamilton, the iconic actress behind Donna Harris in Sanford and Son and Verdi in the Waltons, has passed away at the age of 95. Known for her quiet strength and dignified presence on screen, Hamilton's passing marks the end of a golden era in American television. Her death was confirmed by longtime publicist and former manager, Reverend Calvin Carson. Hamilton died peacefully of natural causes at her home in Chicago, surrounded by grandchildren, loved ones, and caregivers, a tender reflection of a life rooted in family and purpose. Born in Mississippi and raised in Chicago Heights, Hamilton's career began on the stages of New York in the 1950s. Her breakout role came in the 1970s as Donna Harris, the warm, graceful fiancée of Fred Sanford. Producers were so moved by her early performance that they created the role specifically for her, a rare honor in Hollywood. She later portrayed Verdi Grant on The Waltons, a character whose resilience echoed Hamilton's own spirit. Her film and TV legacy includes roles in The Golden Girls, NYPD Blue, and Leadbelly, spanning over 5 decades. Despite navigating a challenging industry as a black actress in the mid-20th century, Hamilton remained unwavering. Even after stepping back from the spotlight, she continued working into her 80s, with her final role in Cold Case. In the words of Reverend Carson, she was a shining example of creativity, love, and dedication. Her memory lives on not only through her work, but in the hearts of those she inspired. Gailard Sartain, the beloved character actor and comedic force behind Hee Haw and countless classic films, has passed away at the age of 81. Known for his boundless humor and warm-hearted roles, Sartain died of natural causes on June 19th at his home in Tulsa, Oklahoma, the city where his remarkable journey began. His passing was confirmed by his wife of 36 years, Mary Jo Sartain, who lovingly said he died of silliness, a fitting tribute to a man who made laughter his life's work. He leaves behind his wife, their 3 children, granddaughter Chloe, and great-grandson Teddy. Born in 1943, Gailard's career began humbly as a cameraman, before evolving into a colorful presence on late-night local television as Dr. Mazeppa Pompazoidi. He soon captured national attention, starring for nearly 2 decades on Hee Haw, and appearing in beloved films like Mississippi Burning, The Outsiders, Fried Green Tomatoes, and The Buddy Holly Story. He also joined the whimsical world of Ernest P. Worrell, endearing himself to generations of viewers. Sartain gracefully stepped away from Hollywood in 2005 after Elizabethtown, choosing to focus on painting, another lifelong passion. Reflecting in 2017, he said, "I was always a fan first," a humble truth echoed in his every performance. Through laughter, color, and kindness, Gailard Sartain gifted us stories we'll never forget. His legacy lives in every smile he inspired and every heart he lifted. Donald Sutherland, the towering Canadian actor whose magnetic presence graced 6 decades of film history, has passed away at the age of 88. His son, Kiefer Sutherland, confirmed the news with heartfelt words. He loved what he did and did what he loved. A life well lived. Donald McNichol Sutherland died peacefully on June 20th, 2024. From his humble beginnings in St. John, New Brunswick, he rose to become one of the most respected actors of his generation, admired for his daring roles and unwavering craft. His career began in the 1960s and spanned unforgettable performances in MASH, Clute, Don't Look Now, Ordinary People, and Invasion of the Body Snatchers. In later years, he captivated a new generation as the chilling President Snow in the Hunger Games franchise. Though he battled illness as a child, Sutherland's resolve never wavered. He studied engineering and drama, then pursued acting in London before conquering Hollywood. Despite never receiving a competitive Oscar nomination, he was honored with an Academy Award for Lifetime Achievement in 2017, alongside Canada's highest civilian awards. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau called him a truly great Canadian artist. Those who knew him remembered not only his talent, but also his humility, kindness, and enduring patriotism. Donald Sutherland leaves behind his wife, Francine Racette, 5 children, including Kiefer, and a legacy that will inspire generations. His story reminds us that greatness is built not on fame, but on passion, purpose, and persistence. If Donald's work touched your life, we invite you to subscribe and share your memories in the comments below. William Friedkin, the fearless visionary behind The Exorcist and The French Connection, has passed away at the age of 87. His death, caused by heart failure and pneumonia, was confirmed by his wife, legendary producer Sherry Lansing, at their home in Bel Air. From the gritty streets of New York to the shadowy corners of the supernatural, Friedkin shaped modern cinema with an intensity few could match. He won an Academy Award for directing The French Connection in 1971 and redefined the horror genre 2 years later with The Exorcist, a film that still haunts audiences to this day. His films weren't just stories, they were experiences, marked by moral ambiguity, visceral tension, and a chilling realism that pushed the boundaries of Hollywood storytelling. Born into poverty in Chicago, Friedkin climbed from a mailroom job to directing Emmy-nominated television and world-class opera. Even after critical and commercial setbacks, he returned triumphantly with Bug and Killer Joe, proving his artistic fire never dimmed. His final film, The Caine Mutiny Court-Martial, was accepted into the Venice Film Festival, a fitting send-off for a career defined by boldness. In his own words, Friedkin admitted his flaws, but never lost his love for the craft. He leaves behind his wife, 2 sons, and a cinematic legacy unmatched in intensity and vision. May his work continue to inspire generations of filmmakers. If his stories ever moved you, we invite you to share a memory and subscribe to honor a true master of the screen. Lou Christie, the falsetto king of 1960s pop, best known for his chart-topping hit Lightnin' Strikes, has passed away at the age of 82. His wife, Francesca, confirmed that the beloved singer died peacefully at home in Pittsburgh after a brief illness. Born Luigi Alfredo Giovanni Sacco in Glen Willard, Pennsylvania, Christie rose from humble beginnings to become a pop sensation. With his soaring vocal range and bold songwriting, he made waves with hits like The Gypsy Cried, 2 Faces Have I, I'm Gonna Make You Mine, and the daring Rhapsody in the Rain, a song so provocative for its time that many radio stations banned it. Despite early rejection from record executives, Christie and his collaborator Twyla Herbert persevered, personally funding Lightnin' Strikes, which climbed to #1 on his 23rd birthday. His career was briefly interrupted by military service, but he returned to the charts with renewed energy, later exploring country pop with Beyond the Blue Horizon in 1974. Christie remained active in music well into his later years, touring with legends like Frankie Avalon and Fabian as part of Dick Fox's Golden Boys. Beyond his hits, he was remembered for his theatrical flair and originality. He is survived by Francesca, his wife of over 50 years, and their daughter, Bianca. His son, Christopher, tragically passed away in 2014. Lou Christie leaves behind a voice that defined an era, and a legacy of passion, perseverance, and unforgettable melody. Lauren Ruch, the beloved HGTV content chief and host of HGTV House Party, has passed away at the age of 55. He died peacefully at home after a courageous battle with acute myeloid leukemia, surrounded by loved ones. A creative force behind the scenes, Lauren Rook helped shape the identity of modern home lifestyle television. As head of content at HGTV, he brought to life cherished programs such as Celebrity IOU, Property Brothers, Forever Home, My Lottery Dream Home, and Extreme Makeover, Home Edition. Before that, he produced Brother vs. Brother and HGTV's Dream Home specials, lending his voice to both heartwarming stories and home transformations. His television journey began with game shows and daytime talk, leading to a decade at Fox's Good Day LA, where he earned 5 Emmy Awards. But Lauren's legacy went beyond programming. He was known as the glue in every room, a mentor, a connector, a quiet leader who uplifted everyone he worked with. Warner Brothers Discovery chairperson Channing Dungey remembered him as someone who built teams that became families, leaving behind a legacy of kindness, creativity, and joy. Lauren is survived by his husband, David Salas, his parents, Dolly and Larry, and his brother Jeffrey. Though taken too soon, Lauren's light continues to shine in every show he touched and every person he inspired. In his memory, donations may be made to the Alisa Ann Rook Burn Foundation or Be the Match. Dave Scott, the iconic choreographer behind Step Up 2, The Streets and You Got Served, has passed away at the age of 52. His death was confirmed on June 16th through a heartfelt statement shared to his official Instagram, honoring his warmth, creativity, and the profound impact he made through dance. Born in Compton, California, Dave found his calling in movement, inspired by legends like Michael Jackson and films like Beat Street. While attending college in Utah on a basketball scholarship, he was discovered dancing in a nightclub, a moment that launched an extraordinary journey in choreography. He went on to shape the dance world with his work on So You Think You Can Dance, Dancing with the Stars, and the unforgettable routine Forever, which deeply touched the hearts of audiences. Dave's rise was marked not by fame-seeking, but by a relentless passion for uplifting others. From the club floor to the global stage, he mentored countless young artists, many of whom credit him for building their confidence and careers. Tributes have poured in from stars like Kevin McHale, Harry Shum Jr., and Debbie Allen, each reflecting on his kindness, energy, and ability to make people feel seen. His light, laughter, and legacy will forever live, Allen wrote. Dave Scott leaves behind a legacy not just of choreography, but of joy, belonging, and artistic excellence. His rhythm echoes on, in every beat, every move, and every life he inspired. Ann Burrell, the beloved Food Network star, known for Worst Cooks in America, has passed away at the age of 55. Tragically, Ann Burrell was found unresponsive in the shower of her Brooklyn home on the morning of June 17, 2025. Her husband, Stuart Claxton, made the heartbreaking discovery and called 911. While the official cause of death remains under investigation, reports suggest she may have suffered cardiac arrest. Authorities noted the presence of pills nearby, though no foul play is suspected. Ann's radiant energy, spiky blonde hair, and exuberant voice made her one of the most recognizable faces on television. A graduate of the Culinary Institute of America, she trained in Italy before rising through the ranks of New York's fine dining scene. From Secrets of a Restaurant Chef to Beat Bobby Flay, her on-screen presence was magnetic. But it was Worst Cooks in America that truly captured hearts, where her warmth and humor uplifted even the most hopeless home cooks. Though her passing was sudden, Ann had remained active and joyful, even performing improv the night before she died. Her journey, from small-town New York to becoming a household name, was marked by tireless passion and undeniable charm. In a statement, her grieving family wrote, "Ann's light radiated far beyond those she knew. touching millions across the world. Though she is no longer with us, her warmth, spirit, and boundless love remain eternal. With an estimated net worth of $4 million, she leaves behind not only her husband and family, but also a legacy of joy, food, and fearless authenticity. Let us honor Anne's life by sharing our fondest memories of her in the comments below. Joe Don Baker, the rugged American actor known for Walking Tall and his unforgettable presence in Bond films, has passed away at the age of 89. The news was confirmed by his family in an official statement. Baker died peacefully on May 7, 2025, leaving behind a legacy etched deep in the golden era of Hollywood action and crime cinema. Rising to fame with his commanding portrayal of Sheriff Buford Pusser in Walking Tall, 1973, Baker captured the public's imagination as a symbol of justice and resolve. His performances in Charlie Varick, Junior Bonner, and later as CIA agent Jack Wade in GoldenEye and Tomorrow Never Dies showed his remarkable range, from brute force to quiet authority. Behind the strong screen presence was a man who overcame early loss, raised by an aunt after losing his mother at age 12. Trained at the Actors Studio, he moved from Broadway to Hollywood, eventually working with giants like Steve McQueen and Walter Matthau. Even when the spotlight dimmed, Baker returned with memorable roles in The Natural Mars Attacks and Mud, maintaining a steady career across 5 decades. Though he divorced in 1980, Baker remained close to family in Groesbeck, Texas. With an estimated net worth of $2 million, his true wealth lay in the characters he brought to life, strong, flawed, and deeply human. His family writes, "It is with heavy hearts that we announce the passing of Joe Don, a noted member of the performing arts community. He leaves behind a legacy of grit, authenticity, and enduring respect from fans around the world." Before the world heard her sing, Marie Osmond learned how to listen, to rhythm, to silence, and to the quiet strength of a family rooted in faith. She wasn't born into obscurity. She was born into the noise of harmonies, hotel rooms, and backstage prayers. Yet somehow, amid the gold records and television scripts, she became something rare. A soul who made fame feel gentle. If you've ever turned up the volume when Paper Roses came on the radio, if you remember watching Donnie and Marie from your living room couch, maybe with your grandkids dancing in front of the screen, or if you've ever lost someone and found healing in a song, this story is for you. And if it stirs a memory, I invite you. Leave a comment below. Let's remember together. Marie Osmond entered the world on October 13, 1959, the 8th of 9 children in a devout Utah household already orbiting television stardom. Her brothers, the Osmond brothers, had become household names. But Marie's mother, Olive, was determined that her only daughter wouldn't be swallowed by the spotlight too soon. Instead of thrusting her into fame, they let her childhood breathe. She skated on sidewalks, practiced piano, colored quietly while her brothers rehearsed show tunes. She made music out of patience, but when her moment came, it didn't knock softly. It kicked down the door. At age 13, Marie recorded Paper Roses, a country ballad aching with youth and wisdom. It became a phenomenon, topping country charts and climbing the Billboard Hot 100. The voice that poured out of speakers wasn't polished pop. It was clear, trembling, real. Audiences saw a teen with ribboned hair and a satin dress. But inside, she was a craftsman already, scribbling costume ideas on napkins, suggesting lighting cues, and soaking in every lesson from her showbiz siblings. "My voice was mine," she would later say, "but the discipline was my mother's gift." Soon came the peak, the Donnie and Marie show. Ice skates, glitter, duets that felt like home. America tuned in every week, not just for the music, but for the warmth. The feeling that everything might be okay, even if just for an hour. Behind that warmth was a woman studying camera angles and audience psychology like a surgeon. Fame never dulled her curiosity, and even as disco rose and MTV roared, Marie stood firm. She wasn't just surviving trends, she was quietly outlasting them. But the most powerful chapter wasn't about fame. It was about what happens when the lights go dim, but even voices as steady as Marie's can falter. As the 80s gave way to a flashier, more fractured entertainment world, Marie faced not just creative crossroads, but deeply personal ones. Her marriage to basketball player Steve Craig, though filled with moments of love and laughter, eventually collapsed under the pressure of public life. Fame hadn't dimmed, but the quiet inside her heart had. Still, she pressed on. Broadway called, and she answered. In The King and I, she wasn't just singing, she was anchoring grief and grace into every line. But behind the curtain, a deeper storm was brewing. After giving birth to her first son, she was overcome by postpartum depression, a darkness that crept in despite the applause, the flowers, the fan mail. She couldn't feel joy. She couldn't feel anything. It's like the lights go on, and you're still in the dark, she later wrote. That candor became a turning point, not just in her career, but in the cultural conversation about mental health. In the 90s, when few dared to speak about depression, Marie stood up. She authored books, gave interviews, and looked directly into cameras with unflinching honesty. I want other women to know they're not crazy, they're not broken, they're not alone. This was no longer about record sales. This was a redemption story, a sobriety journey of the spirit. Then came the blow no mother prepares for. In 2010, Marie's 18-year-old son, Michael Bryan, died by suicide after battling emotional turmoil in silence. The headlines were brutal, the pain unimaginable. She could have retreated forever, and no one would have blamed her. But Marie, with the quiet strength that had always defined her, turned heartbreak into purpose. She launched scholarships in Michael's name for at-risk youth. She toured college campuses, speaking not as a celebrity, but as a grieving mother urging others to listen for the quiet cries. In interviews, she said, "If one life is saved because I talked, then I did my job as his mom." Her performances changed. Songs like Pai Jesu weren't just ballads, they were prayers. On stage, she now sang with a depth that can only come from having walked through fire. She re-examined everything, her schedule, her health, her faith. Marie had long battled weight fluctuations under public scrutiny, tabloid ridicule, and the pressure to stay camera-ready. But this time, she made changes not to impress the industry, but to protect her voice, her heart, her longevity. She partnered with Nutrisystem, not as a paid figurehead, but as a woman reclaiming her strength. She embraced interval training, vocal rest days, and a heart-conscious diet after a mitral valve prolapse diagnosis. And she brought others along with her. Marie's home became a haven, not just for healing, but for reinvention. She launched new albums like Music is Medicine, blending classical and country in ways only a true veteran mentor could pull off. She guided young songwriters in the Utah mountains, where morning sessions on melody gave way to fireside talks on grief, rights management, and legacy. She didn't just teach music, she taught how to live through pain with dignity. Always nearby, her colored pencils, blue for melody, red for emotion, green for market value. Her notes on demos, handwritten, never typed, became a symbol of her dual mind. One foot in art, one in industry. She once said, "You don't own your talent, you're just stewarding it until the next soul needs it." That's not just a quote, that's a mantra. The comeback wasn't flashy, it was thoughtful, it was gradual, it was fierce. She remarried her first love, Stephen Craig, in 2011. In the same Salt Lake temple where their journey began. Not for the cameras, for the quiet peace of second chances. And in Las Vegas, she and Donnie launched what was supposed to be a short residency at the Flamingo Hotel. It lasted 11 years, She wasn't just on stage. She was backstage too, overseeing lighting grids, costume lines, set pacing, a performer turned producer, a storyteller turned architect of experience. Marie Osmond didn't survive the industry. She reshaped it. In a world quick to discard aging artists, she proved that reinvention is the purest kind of power. A true veteran mentor, she now speaks in the currency of resilience, guiding others not toward fame, but toward purpose. And in that long, winding journey, she never stopped humming those morning scales, always before sunrise, always facing east. Because she knew, the darkest valleys often lead to the most radiant light. Today, Marie Osmond lives in a sunlit home overlooking the Nevada desert. Not far from the Strip, where she once reigned in sequins, but far enough for silence. Her mornings begin just as they did decades ago, with a hum of vocal scales as the horizon blushes pink, a ritual of breath, of rebirth. But now, she hums not for audiences, but for grandchildren playing piano in the next room. She's no longer chasing spotlight. She's shaping it for others. Marie's days are filled with rhythm, just not always musical. She teaches songwriting retreats in the Utah mountains, where rising artists learn to craft hooks and protect their publishing rights. She reviews their lyrics with her signature colored pencils, blue for melody, red for emotional depth, green for market potential. These quiet acts of mentorship have launched careers, sparked CMA nominations, and seeded the next wave of storytellers. She hosts Ask Marie live streams from her living room. No glam team, just truth. She shares recipes, childhood memories, vocal tips, and occasionally breaks into laughter when a grandchild runs through the frame. On TikTok, she dances in sock feet to vintage country choruses. On Instagram, she posts slow pans of constellations, whispering, "We are all stitched to the same sky." Her voice isn't just heard, it's felt. Her creative universe keeps expanding. In 2024, she piloted a metaverse performance venue, complete with digital avatars and AR roses blooming during paper roses. Not as a gimmick, but as a bridge. Technology should bring people closer, not distract us, she says. She still records. Her recent album, Unexpected, featured operatic arias layered with country heart, her voice stretching across genres with the grace of a ribbon on the wind. She mentors producers half her age. She beta tests AI vocal tools, and she remains the only Osmond to retain control of her master recordings through Osmond Entertainment Holdings, a decision that now funds the newly established Marie Osmond Foundation, supporting pediatric mental health, female sound engineers, and care programs for military families. Her dolls still sell out. Her quilts still carry secret Morse-coded blessings like faith and hope stitched into borders. Her perfumes, fabrics, and ornaments now live in homes across generations, echoes of her cultural impact beyond the charts. She hasn't slowed, she's streamlined. And her health? It's not a goal, it's a stewardship. Pilates replaces dance rehearsals. Cardiac checkups are sacred appointments. "You can't sing to others if you can't breathe for yourself," she once joked, adjusting her step tracker before a brisk backyard walk. She is more than a comeback story, more than a sobriety journey, more than a legacy act. She is a woman who, even after unimaginable loss, still stands at the center of a life well composed. And perhaps the most cinematic scene isn't on stage, but in her home studio just after dawn. She's seated at a baby grand, pencil tucked behind one ear, a demo playing. A grandchild rests their head on her shoulder, and for a moment, time softens. She leans forward, presses record, and whispers, "Adapt, uplift, repeat." It's not just a mantra, it's her entire philosophy carved into melody. So if Marie's journey has moved you today, her rise, her redemption, her quiet rebellion against despair, please subscribe to this channel. Share your story in the comments. Let's turn nostalgia into legacy, together. Because some voices fade, but others, like Marie Osmond's, become symphonies that never stop blooming.